Tommaso Ciampa has joined AEW. I think this is damn cool. I mean, given that he did leave WWE recently, I think we all assumed he would head there. When, why, when, what, who, we did not know. I would guess it's because he wants to wrestle more of the AEW style. I hate saying that because I think you get all different kind of styles in all companies. But he was kind of pigeonholed in WWE, so it didn't surprise me. But man, I thought AEW got this spot on. It means I'm going to go on my big rant today about wrestlers jumping ship, because I think it's great. We'll start with Ciampa, and we'll talk about Dynamite later on as well. But it happened after Mark Briscoe had defeated El Clone, who I sometimes called El Clon, because I'm an idiot, all right? You cannot be surprised by this stage that I'm going to be an absolute goofball, because again, wrestling's great, but it's the most important of the least important things. But he said, I'll take on anyone, man, I'm the TNT champion. And entrances and presentation in wrestling are so important. I can't remember what Tommaso Ciampa did back in NXT when he was at the height of his WWE run, I would say. I know he used to come out to no music and stuff, but here he had like a beating heart, and there was skeleton stuff, and it came up with Psycho Killer, and it came up with Tommaso Ciampa, and the way it was shot with the lights and the pyrotechnics and the fireworks, the way that Ciampa looked, this was superb. Now, whether you like Tommaso Ciampa or not, that's totally up to you, and whether you're happy he's in AEW or not, that's totally up to you. That's not what I'm saying. But I am saying, in terms of introducing someone to a brand new audience and making sure you tick as many boxes as possible, this totally ruled, and I liked it a lot, and it got me pumped, and I was like, oh man, I can't wait to see this. I would have Tommaso Ciampa beat Mark Briscoe at the weekend. It doesn't matter. If you really want to get somebody new over with a belt that is meant to be a TV championship, and AEW did used to change that thing all the time back in the day, which we can now say terrifyingly, I would just have it. Tommaso Ciampa and Mark Briscoe do have a history as well, so you can tie into that, and it's Mark Briscoe. Just make sure you keep him in the mix to some degree. His TNT title run's been okay. It could probably have been more exciting, but maybe this is the way to do it. Maybe they can enter a little bit of a feud. I just like it when secondary titles do have people that are just below the surface of the World Championship having feuds and making those belts feel more important. But yes, it does tie into a bigger conversation, because anytime this happens, I understand they're tribalists, but again, it's a thing that happens, so we should discuss it. Like, I'm pretty sure Chris Jericho is going to turn up on Saturday. Something I forgot to say in my Royal Rumbles predictions video is that Powerhouse Hobbs is probably going to be in that as well, and he may be called Royce Keys. Right? I think the name of his son is Royce, so let's just back it off a little bit. But we had someone called Dolph Ziggler, and we all accepted that. Powerhouse Hobbs is a better name on paper, but within 6 months, no one's going to be talking about it. That's just not how it works, right? So I'm not going to get worried about that. I think this is awesome. It is the best thing about AEW and WWE existing to the level that they do. And of course, WWE is bigger. I'm not trying to get into that argument. But when you have a wrestler that gets to the end of their tenure, feels like they need something fresh, which is absolutely the case of Chris Jericho going from AEW to WWE, absolutely the case of Tommaso Ciampa going the other way, and Powerhouse Hobbs is somewhere in the middle. He was doing okay in AEW, pretty damn good, but he probably sees himself at a certain level, so he took a chance on himself, which I just think is cool. And as somebody that watched from 2001 till 2019, it just wasn't the same. Like, TNA did a damn good job sometimes, and sometimes they fell off a cliff. But people turning up there never felt like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Of course, Cody Rhodes started all of this off, because when Cody was presented in WWE with his AEW theme song and his AEW everything else, it was like we were living in La La Land. It's one of the coolest debuts that has ever happened in WWE, and it's going to be the other way around. Again, the way that AEW presented Ciampa, all of a sudden he felt like a bigger star, and this audience couldn't believe they're seeing a WWE guy in AEW. I hate using the term WWE guy, because really, if you're going to talk about tenure, Ciampa would be a Ring of Honor guy or an independent guy. I mean, he was in WWE longer than that, but you call him an NXT guy. At one point in time, if you wanted to make money and be on international television, you had to work in WWE. So we shouldn't then throw negativity at them because they wanted to make a living. That was just the nature of the business, which is why it's way better that you do have an AEW, because everybody can jump around. And soon, I guess Andrade is this, you'll get a Lex Luger who's here, he's there, he's everywhere. He's just going to keep on moving. Or Jeff Jarrett fit that mold as well. Andrade is definitely, it's definitely on his way. He'll go anywhere, which is fantastic. And there may be some other stuff about that, but we don't have the information, so I don't want to start speculating. Way too much of that at the moment. People just making stuff up and saying, well, this must be factual. Why can't it just be an opinion for now? And do the research. Damn it. If you want to go and make accusations, please go and do the research. But I just think it's an awesome place to be as a fan. You may not want somebody working in a certain company. I think that makes you strange. Why wouldn't you want someone to be employed? Why wouldn't you want somebody to make money? Nobody is going to get pushed. Well, here and there they will. But by and large, no one is going to get pushed now unless the audience in the buildings and on television and merchandise, etc., are super duper behind them. Because again, we do have this competition. Roman Reigns would have been turned heel instantly in 2017. There was someone else nipping at WWE's heels. So even if someone you don't like is able to find a platform, find some popularity, climb the way up the card, it probably just means that's not your guy, which is totally fine, but you can't then act like other people aren't gravitating towards them. It just got me so excited. And I'm excited for Hobbs, I'm excited for Andrade. Again, he had a great night last night. I'm excited for Jericho, excited for Ciampa and everybody else that's going to do this. I think Evil's going to join WWE soon. That rocks as well. Somebody else is doing a jumperoo as well. Who the flub was that? I can't remember. But long may this continue. And I hate it when you see people do a 180 on the internet and they'll support somebody so much and then they joined a company they don't like and all of a sudden that support goes away. Well, you were never a fan of theirs in the first place. I don't know what Tommaso Ciampa's real name is. Maybe it's Tommaso Ciampa. But if you genuinely want to do that guy to succeed, nobody kidnapped him. It's not TNA in 2009 with ninjas that are going to vanish after taking Samoa Joe away. This is a real life person wanting to do the best in, I think he called it the last 10 years of his wrestling career. First 10 years independent, second 10 years WWE, third 10 years doing this. You should support the man in the way that he wants to be supported, not just because he works for three letters that may or may not be above a door. That's very strange to me, especially because usually what happens is people will be supporting them and then they'll do such a 180 and become horrible. Where did this come from? I understand it's grifting and I understand it's not real and I understand it doesn't come from an authentic place, but I still like to call it out every now and then because I think it's ridiculous and I think it ruins wrestling and I think it ruins being a wrestling fan. But I did think it was the highlight of last night just from a wow, this is cool, even though I think you could have made an educated guess that he would have done this. I hope he flies. I hope he becomes a world champion. I hope he becomes a TNT champion. I hope all his dreams come true. Not that he needs it from a random bald guy on the internet, but really, really, really awesome stuff. And I love the main event and everything to do with the World Championship. But that's not everything. There's one thing I personally didn't like, but I think I'm going to be the outlier there. But Swerve, Strickland and Andrade was not only a great match, but Andrade winning. I know he cheated and wiggled the referee before whacking Swerve right in the balls before hitting his finisher. But not only did it put him right in the world title picture as well, because there is this mini tournament heading towards Grand Slam and who's going to take on MJF. But I just think it was the right thing to do. Swerve Strickland, I believe, is going to become a little bit more of a dickhead like he used to be. Not necessarily a full-on heel, but given that he was so close and now he kind of has to rethink, I think there's something coming here that's going to be fun and works for Swerve. Because Swerve isn't really a babyface or a heel, he's just Swerve, which is a dumb thing to say. But I didn't see it coming, and I like the fact when AEW can surprise me. Even though there was shenanigans here, it wasn't distraction shenanigans. Andrade just did, and also the referee was being completely manipulated at this stage, so you could totally buy it. But the end of the show as well was MJF talking about Brody King, because they'd had a promo off earlier that we will talk about. Kenny Omega then confronts him, Hangman confronts him, Andrade confronts him. Swerve didn't, probably because he was licking his wounds. But Samoa Joe is out injured. Now, I'm not sure this is a real injury or not, because I think he is filming the third series of Twisted Metal Black, but I like to take all injuries as if they are legit, so I hope he's okay. Nothing more important than that. And Samoa Joe, right? One of the best of all time. Absolutely one of the best of the modern day. But MJF then running away, or driving away in his car. I think you can do all these matches over the next few months going into All In. I think MJF's going to win them all until Will Ospreay is the guy that takes the belt off him, but that will be awesome. And Maxwell Jacob Friedman is just great. Like, he calls himself a generational talent, and I would back that up, even though if I was going to hold my hands, I'll be honest with you, I wasn't necessarily a huge fan of how we did get to the Brody King match. Because MJF comes out and says this town sucks, and Brody King comes out and he says this town is great. I don't think he did say that. Probably should have done. But the whole point is, MJF doesn't think that Brody King's beaten anybody of note. So Brody King sat down with Tony Khan and they decided, well, how about I fight you, MJF? And then, of course, if I beat you in an eliminator match, essentially a number one contenders match, I beat the champion, therefore I should get a championship shot. Now, that's nice and logical. For some reason, though, I was just like, it didn't get me excited. I'm excited for Brody King, and I think he will win next week, whenever the match is. And I think Buddy Matthews may get involved, because MJF took a shot at his injury as well, which has been horrible. So I hope he is doing okay. He's a good dude. I just think, well, one, I think the logic flaw for me, and wrestling doesn't always need to be logical, right? It really doesn't. I think I would be ignoring how wonderful it can be. But I don't understand why Tony Khan and Brody King sat down and went, MJF's right. I have been beating a bunch of nobodies. We're talking about just ragging on your other roster. Maybe I don't think my idea is as fun, but I just think it would have made more sense. Again, I'm turning into Lance Storm here, who I love, by the way. Check him out on Wrestling Observer News Radio, whatever he does, live. Just the best. I love how he sees wrestling, even though it's completely different to me. I'm like, man, Lance, you have an important voice in this space. But it just seems to make sense to me. They would have sat down and they would have gone, no, you are beating people. It's awesome. Go and beat someone last week. Go and beat somebody this week. And then sure, now you can go and take him on. Beat him. Okay, he won't put his title on the line, but beat him. So we get there in the same way. I don't know. I think I'm pulling at straws here. I just thought it was a little bit strange. However, the back and forth was great. MJF killed me when he said, for a dude that looks so liberal, you also look like a Nazi. I was like, I can't believe you said those words out your mouth. Some people get on MJF's case for these lines, but it South Parked me, right? Oh my gosh. And then I start laughing, even though I didn't want to. And he always sells it so well, like Brody King is this big bag. Oh my gosh. Like when he found out about this match, he was terrified. I just love, mostly, forget all the little nuances that we can talk about till the cows come home. Mostly, I'm just pumped that Brody King is getting this match. I think deserved is such an odd term, but I just think he's been awesome in AEW for so many years, and he's lost so many partners that now I think is the time. He won't win the World Championship, but let's have him go close, and then let's figure out a cool storyline to keep him up here. And then maybe one day he can move into that realm. I don't think that would be a problem at all. Much the same with Tommaso Ciampa. So really enjoyed that. I thought it was good. And even though maybe it wasn't particularly for me in the sense how it was put together, I'm super excited about it next week. And I think Brody King will probably win that match. Again, thanks to Buddy Matthews. We get to Grand Slam and you do the title match there, which I think works in terms of the timeline. It's going to make it feel more special because, again, it's kind of more of a special match. And then, yes, MJF will win and go on probably, well, I don't know, because it's going to be Kenny Omega versus Andrade, which is also awesome because that's AEW doing a wink, wink, nudge, nudge to a few months ago. Because, of course, that is the first thing Andrade did when he returned to AEW. Then he got legal, whatever the word would be, taken out by legality. Now he has come back. But by beating Swerve, and Kenny Omega had a match with Rocky Romero, it was super fun and just made Kenny Omega feel like the biggest star ever. But next week, basically, it is Andrade versus Kenny Omega, and then the winner will become the new number one contender for, or they have to take on Hangman first. I don't remember. The point is they're having that match, and whoever wins it is going one step closer to the World Championship. Great way to get back to that match, though, after Andrade did have to step away, and then he re-enters. And, I mean, what you're going to do all these matches, right, as I stumble over my own words. So we're going to get Hangman MJF. We're going to get Swerve MJF. We're going to get Andrade MJF, and we're going to get Omega MJF. Omega may do it, because I think Omega is looking like the old Kenny Omega. He even said himself last week, I feel better than ever. If you are going to pull the trigger on anybody, it would be him, because he just comes out and he feels like a superstar. Like, he started off the show and I was like, oh, Kenny Omega. And he was so damn good here. So that could change, but otherwise, you have all these lined up, and like I say, Maxwell Jacob Friedman could beat all of them. Even if he does it in awful ways, it's only going to help his character, and it's only going to make that belt feel more important. So I'm really excited about it. And again, Kenny versus Rocky was a really good match. Swerve versus Andrade, completely different. That was really, really long, and they really, really got into it. And Hangman's just kind of sniffing around right now. Hope he doesn't forget he's a trios champion. Jet Speed, we're not on this show. But just, I love the fact that the people that are meant to be stars are going after the World Championship. So I can't wait. And of course, Andrade versus Kenny Omega is going to be good. If it's bad or even mediocre, I will fall on the floor. I mean, I just pick myself up again and get on with my day. But that's how shocked I would be about it. But I think what I like the most is that things felt like they had stakes, right? There was actually things on the line here. And what does Swerve do? He's at the back of the line. Chris Statlander versus Tekla was an awesome match as well. They just beat the holy hell out of each other. Like they really did. Loved the fact, loved with a capital L, that the Babes of Wrath were like, listen, Sisters of Sin, we'll give you a title match if you don't interfere. Blackmail. That's what that is. Blackmail. Why didn't they just form a security blanket around the ring or whatever it was? There was sad news too, though, because in the tag title match, it was Doyle and Davis taking on FTR. I mean, Doyle said it himself. You can hear it on the internet right now. Somebody's clipped it. I've torn my bicep. When you watch it back, it's Cash Wheeler, I think, dragging him down into the ring apron. He holds on to the rope. Not in a bad way. It's just what you do. But his arm extends in such a horrific position. Oh, my gosh. Amazing what they did after the fact. I mean, shout out to all of them. They were having a great fight anyway. But for those three, without the man, I'm sure they had stuff planned with to do what they did do. I did like the fact John Moxley got involved. I understand that Davis and Doyle had attacked him early in the show and they're from the Don Callis family. But FTR are awful people within the show. A disconnect for some reason, as I can't talk today. I had way too much caffeine, quite clearly. That's just me, though. You can't argue it from a sensical point of view. I was just a bit like, I don't know. It felt a little bit like a get out of jail free card, but these are minor criticisms to say the least. But yeah, Cash Wheeler, Dax Harwood, and Mark Davies. Fair play to you for just putting that together. And then yes, poor Mark Davies gets smacked in the back to the head, belt shot wise, from John Moxley. So that must continue, the Don Callis Death Riders feud, which is no surprise really, because again, Moxley had beaten Ace Austin in an a continental, too many titles, continental, what's it called? Eliminator match, which is why I wouldn't have done the other one. There's just too many of these. They attack them, so they get their revenge. Bizarre that we had the street fight last week, which the kind of the payoff, even though it wasn't, it's all done a little bit oddly, but maybe there's something coming that I haven't seen. But it was a really good tag match. And again, none of this matters. It's storylines in wrestling. Who the flub cares, man? We get content every single week. We can get over it. I just hope Jake Doerr's okay. I'm pretty sure he only just came back off a serious injury last year. Of course, he only signed a few weeks ago. Physically, obviously, he will get better, but it's the mental game, and people forget about that. And it's another reason why you see some people saying things on social media like, you have forgotten this person is real, and they're a human, and they have ups and downs. Who knows more about that than me? Make sure you check out my AEW review, Freelance for What Culture Wrestling. I just hope he's all right. I hope he gets through it. I hope he's got a good support system around him, which goes to anybody that gets injured. Like, I've obviously wrestled myself, and I've had that, and you can't train, and you just get inside yourself too much. You really have to sort of take it day by day. Remember, you're going to be okay. Don't do anything crazy. So all the love to that guy. Just such a shame. It really is. It absolutely sucks. We also had a lot of the Don Callis family in here as well. Like, Carl Fletcher accepted Okada's apology, and then Takeshita got mad at that because he was like, I can't believe you did this. And Don Callis is desperate for everyone to get back on the same page. It's all to do with that screwdriver during the C2 when poor Carl Fletcher got screwed over. I think, and again, this is just personal preference, we should be knee-deep into the Okada Takeshita stuff now. We're still teasing that they may get back together. Like, Don Callis, like, we need to win championships and everyone needs to be on the same page. I felt like we'd already pulled the trigger on that in some match we've already done. I think we should be in the home stretch by now, and that Revolution should be their big blow-off match. I don't mind AEW being patient, but I think you could be too patient and get into other feuds. Just a personal preference. And Carl Fletcher's still going after the TNT title. That's another reason Tommaso Ciampa can win it. Then you can start doing three-ways between Mark Briscoe, Carl Fletcher, and Tommaso Ciampa. Who doesn't want that in their life? That's like a past, present, and future coming together. It would be really, really good. So I hope that we move all the relevant people out of the Don Callis family that need to be moved out of there. Maybe I am being impatient. I just think Takeshi should be a babyface by now. And I think later in 2026, Carl Fletcher should be a babyface too. Also had the funniest segment backstage when Orange Cassidy was like, Wheeler Yuta, hate that guy. So Wheeler Yuta was going, man, you can't say that to me. When Tony Storm and Rina Shafir got involved, and everybody was allowed to say their piece before they got broken up. I thought it was tremendous. It was the most wrestling thing ever. But mostly, I haven't forgotten anything. I don't think I have. I'm in a bit of a rush today. It's probably why I'm talking at 1,000 miles an hour. I really enjoyed this episode of Dynamite. The Tommaso Ciampa thing I thought was super fun. The tag match was good, even with the unfortunate injury. The main event was awesome. Kenny Omega is great. MJF is brilliant. Despite how they got there, big fan of Brody King being put in this position. It just feels fresh. And it feels like a lot of people are being moved into interesting positions. And that's why, even though the John Moxley Ace Austin thing came out of nowhere, Ace Austin needed to be presented in a certain way, as did El Clone, right? You want to get these people where you can start telling the fans, do you like them? Do you not like them? Do you want to see them more? And Dynamite is their major show, which is also why it's nice. They're doing Briscoe versus Tommaso Ciampa on Collision. So that criticism too. Actually, we'll talk about two last criticisms. Somebody's like, I can't believe they're doing it on Collision. They have to try. They can't just give up. And also, some people didn't like the fact that El Clone pushed his way out or kipped up it out of his way of a Drager because it didn't make sense. It's the dumbest criticism, right? Usually I try to be quite a fair person and respectful. Not here, it's dumb. No moves in wrestling make sense. You can't Irish whip anyone. You can't powerbomb someone. They'll just go dead on you. None of it makes sense. If you want to break it down to the most finite detail, the whole point was he used his springy powers, his sippy-dee-doo-dah moves, and he got out of it. We've seen it before. We've seen Mustafa Ali do it with the RKO. We've seen somebody do it in a power driver. It's just meant to be fun. It was one move in a match. Don't pretend he wasn't selling. He kicked out of it. And you don't have to enjoy it, but don't go, oh, he's ruined professional wrestling. Well, then all moves wrestling professional wrestling. Why is a dude lay on the floor when he sees another guy about to drop an elbow on him? Right? I'm not having it. There's lots to criticize in professional wrestling, but not that. That's stupid. All right, everyone calm down. I'm not actually mad at all, by the way. I don't care. In a good way. I don't mind, I should say. I don't mind what you think. If you want to go ranting and raving on the internet, I don't enjoy it when you make it personal about other people. If you're happy, you're happy, right? I just want people to be happy. And if you are happy and you know it, like the video, share the video, and subscribe to the video on the screen, my Royal Rumble predictions. Many people saying I'm right, many people saying I'm wrong. Appreciate the split. It makes it more fun. Otherwise, it is grillermind.com/Simon. You can Simon get 10% off. Patreon.com/Simon316. Social media is Simon316. I can put a bunch of stuff on there. Same with TikTok, same with Pro Wrestling Tees, and same with Cameo. Did loads of cameos last week, which was nice. Happy birthday to all those guys. Otherwise, enjoy Royal Rumble week. If you're only into AEW, I hope you enjoyed Dynamite too, and I will see you tomorrow.